What's up, guys, and welcome back to Nope or Dope Reviews. I'm Steven. I just got out of an early press screening reaction to Jurassic World Rebirth, the new Jurassic World movie that's coming out in a couple weeks. Full embargo doesn't get released or lifted until June 30th, so we got a couple weeks to go before I can give my full review. So I'm not going to give you a Nope or Dope in this reaction / review because I'm not supposed to, but you'll be able to tell based on my reaction. So this is just going to be initial thoughts from this movie. Maybe there's a little bit of recency bias going on here because I just saw it, but I just want to give you my initial thoughts so you can have a good idea what to expect in this movie. Now, I didn't watch all of the trailers for this movie because I wanted to go in fresh. I didn't want to get spoiled by anything because trailers these days can spoil many things in movies, and I didn't want to do this. And let's be real, the last two movies, the last couple of Jurassic World movies were not the best. The last one was atrocious. I can't believe they brought the OG cast back into that movie. The OG cast would have been better in this movie if they had casted them, but what happened. It wasn't the best, so didn't have high hopes going this movie. So in the end, I gotta say, again, recency bias aside, this feels like the best Jurassic World movie since the original OG Jurassic Park from back in the day. I'm not talking about the most recent Jurassic World OG movie from this trilogy. I'm talking about the OG Jurassic Park. They went back to the basics in this movie. They went back to telling a simple story. There was tension in this movie that wasn't there in the last couple movies. I'm not the guy that really falls for any jump scares. I'm not the type of guy that gets scared in these type of movies, but there was a couple times in this movie where I was really feeling the tension. I was at the edge of my seat, didn't know what to expect, and it got me a couple times. And one thing I do want to say about this movie, this feels like a mixture of Jurassic Park meets Alien meets Jaws. Again, I didn't see many of the trailers, but I didn't expect there to be this much water scenes. I'm standing next to the water over here at Disney in this movie, and it was actually a pleasant surprise because I love those Jaws and Megalodon movies. And honestly, again, this isn't a spoiler, maybe they showed it in trailers. One of the scenes early on in the movie is really what kicked it off for me, was an action scene involving dinosaurs in the water. And it's some of the best action I've seen in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World in a long time. Because honestly, the beginning of the movie, which started off phenomenal, a lot of horror at the very beginning of this movie, but right after that, we got into getting to know some of these characters. We get to know Scarlett Johansson's character, Z. We get to know, I guess you could say he's the villain of this movie if you want to go there. I'm not going to go into too many details. You get to meet Dr. Loomis. You get to know all these characters, Mahershala Ali's character, but there's a lot of heavy exposition, a lot of talking, not a lot of showing, which honestly, their backstory was, I mean, I get what they're going with it, but it really didn't affect me emotionally throughout this movie. They tried to, but it really wasn't anything that made the movie any better or any worse. It was just kind of there, and it kind of drug out at the very beginning of the movie. The pacing at the beginning was a little bit slow, but once it got going, it got going. And in this movie, there's two factions, two groups. For me, one of the groups I enjoyed more than the other. Maybe for you guys, you'll like the other group a little bit more, but it worked for me. The one group had a little bit more humor to it. There was one character named Xavier that you'll see, which I was kind of annoyed by a little bit, but then in the end, kind of grew on me. He was the levity in this movie. But back to the positives of this movie, it really is going back to the basics, going back to the tension. You're supposed to be fearful of these beasts, and I was in certain scenes. A lot of horror in this movie, some body horror, nothing too crazy where you can't have the kids. There's a bunch of kids in this movie, but there was enough horror in it, enough body horror in it to show that there's some stakes. Like, hey, these aren't just CGI characters roaming the streets or roaming the jungle, you're gonna get eaten. You're gonna get torn in half. Your limbs are gonna get ripped in half. And it was good. CGI, a couple times, almost a couple times, it took me out of the movie because the CGI was so glaring. But I give them props for having a lot of scenes during the day, because I think it's more difficult to do the day scenes because you could see the CGI a little bit more clearer. A lot of the green screens were pretty obvious, especially when you had the backdrop of the water or the jungle, where at the foreground it's just one character. But whatever, it didn't take me away from the scenes too much because the action was so good. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the interactions. It was again, pacing was slow at the beginning, but it picked up near the end and got better and better as it went on. Gareth Edwards, props to him. He's a great director. Obviously, Rogue One of the best Star Wars movies ever made. Godzilla, he knows how to do action scenes with big monsters, kaiju characters, those type of monsters. And in this movie, obviously, if you've seen the trailers or just know about the plot, there's going to be some mutated dinosaurs that we've never seen before. And honestly, those dinosaurs were awesome in this movie. Did a great job. And again, the horror was in it. It was back to basics. Simple story, something you could follow. Again, for the kids at the beginning, a little bit too much exposition, but once they get the action going, it's what you expect from a good Jurassic World movie. One more thing I want to add before I end this reaction. One thing that really added to the horror element of this movie and to my enjoyment of this movie was the score. I don't know who did the score in this movie, but they did a fabulous job. A lot of the scenes where there was chases where you're involving the dinosaurs and horror, the score was horror-centric. Like, awesome job. You have to have a great score when you have these chase scenes with monsters, with mutated dinosaurs. Did a great job with the score, so congrats to the guy who did the score in this movie. But overall, I think Jurassic World has life to the franchise again. The title of the movie is sort of a rebirth for this franchise. It was a tired, used, cliched franchise over the last couple of movies. Now this is movie number 7. It's giving life back to the franchise, and I'm excited to see what they do in the future. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this reaction, out of the theater reaction. It's not a full-on, non-spoiler review. I think you know what I would give it if I were to give my ranking. So thanks for checking me out again today. Go check out my other reactions the last couple days. I did Elio yesterday, F1 the day before, and check out my other trailer reactions as well. Hit that like button. It definitely helps the channel. Subscribe if you like, and I'll check you out later. Peace.